Welcome to the Natural Health Podcast, where we bring awareness of sustainable health in the business hustle space. The Natural Health Podcast is perfect for the high-performing business-minded individuals who want to work with their biochemistry to achieve optimal health. It's Wednesday, which means it's time for What Would I Do? In today's episode of Natural Health Podcast, we discuss this week's question. All questions are kept confidential. I read them and answer them as if it was me. Hence why it's called What Would I Do Wednesday. The information provided is not to be taken as advice and is solely for information purposes only. I am not here to treat, cure, or provide medical advice. I'm here to educate and inform you so you're able to take steps towards optimal health. Please discuss any medical or lifestyle changes with your healthcare professional. Let's get into today's question, which a lot of you will be able to relate to. So, wrote in saying, everyone's kept anonymous. I don't mention names. I don't say who they are, what they are for purposes. And they wrote in saying, I love coffee and cannot stop drinking it. I have about 5 coffees a day and believe that it is the only reason I am productive. Is there anything else I can use as a natural booster? I feel I need to drop my intake of coffee, but I don't want to lose my productivity. Please help. Well, you know what? This person is not the only one. We believe that coffee makes us productive, and thus we have so many coffees. As a society, especially here in Melbourne, we are addicted to coffee. We have an absolutely amazing coffee society. But I wanted to start off today with having a look at coffee. I've done a number of podcasts and spoken about coffee numerous amount of times, but I thought I would re-talk about it because for the purposes of this question, because this question is all about, I'm drinking too much coffee. I think it's bad for me. I need a natural booster. What can I do? I want to keep my productivity up, and that's like all of us, right? So coffee is a complex mixture of more than 800 compounds, where caffeine and cholinergic acid are the most common compounds, which give us the most types of the feeling that we get, right? So in this study that I found, I looked at so many research studies, right? And there's good about coffee and then there's bad. There's good and bad. It's like kind of like a seesaw. There's always good and bad. There's not just one side saying it's really good and then there's not the other side saying it's really bad, right? So this study looked at the consumption of moderate amount of coffee increases energy ability, increases daily energy expenditure, decreases fatigue, decreases the sense of effort associated with physical activity, enhances physical performance, enhances motor performance, enhances cognitive performance, increases alertness, wakefulness, and feeling of energy, decreases mental fatigue, quickens reaction time, increases the accuracy of your reaction, increases the ability to concentrate and focus on attention, enhances short-term memory, increases the ability to solve problems requiring reasoning, increases the ability to make correct decisions, enhances cognitive function ability and neuromuscular coordination. So after reading that, you're like, why would you want to drop your coffee intake? So over the last decade, the food regulation authorities have concluded that coffee caffeine consumption is not harmful if consumed as levels of 200 milligrams of caffeine in one sitting, which here they're saying is about 2.5 cups of coffee, but it just depends how you drink it and what you drink, right? Because 200 mgs of caffeine can also be found in some really, really strong coffee in 1 cup, right? Or 200 mgs daily, right? So that's kind of what they're saying is okay to drink, about 400 mgs of coffee intake daily and 200 in one sitting, right? And then it's kind of like this is talking about how good coffee is, right? But where there's good, there's also bad, right? Black and white, yin and yang, the moon and the sun, right? So coffee is consumed mainly as a drink all over the world, owning its stimulant effect. But an overdose of caffeine can cause serious secondary effects like intestinal irritability, diarrhea, nervousness, anxiety, pancreatic cancer, cholesterol, and so forth, right? This is really interesting because another study that I looked at found that coffee consumption seems to increase the risk of developing rheumatoid arthritis and type 1 diabetes. They looked at autoimmune diseases in this study. By contrast, coffee consumption may exceed a protective role against multiple sclerosis, primary sclerosis, cholinergitis, and UC, ulcerative sclerosis, right? Considering other autoimmune diseases such as systemic lupus, psoriasis, primary biliary, and Crohn's disease, no significant association was found. So this is kind of going where I want to go. It's kind of going, it just depends on the individual. It can be good, it can be bad, it can be neutral. It's all dependent on you and your body and how much coffee you're taking, right? However, when coffee shouldn't be, so the other thing that I looked at is adult coffee consuming moderate amount of 3 cups coffee, which is 300 to 400 milligrams of caffeine. There was little evidence of health risks, and some evidence also shows health benefits. However, individuals who coffee is bad for is hypertension, children, adolescents, and elderly are more vulnerable to the adverse effects of caffeine. So individuals who are pregnancy, lactation, high blood pressure, caffeine sensitivity, and so forth, and also even taking some medications, it can be bad for them. But let's go to your question, right? So for me, let's wrap it all up. So I've spoken about a little bit about how coffee is good and how coffee is bad and how it's neutral, right? According to a scientific study. But anything that's in scientific study has to be put into your own body, which has not been studied. Your body has not been studied. Other people's bodies and other people and other animals have been studied in regards to coffee consumption, but yours hasn't. Okay, so the issue for me is not the coffee. It is what the coffee comes with. It is the sugar, it is the milk, or anything else that is added into or not added into the coffee, such as are they using filtered water, such as are they using organic coffee, such as are they using milk or alternative milk, and what does that milk have? Does it have additives? Does it have coloring, flavorings, and so forth? That is where the issue lays with coffee consumption, in my opinion, right? The thing that you need to understand is coffee farmers apply 113 kilos of chemical fertilizer per acre on their coffee, right? Thousands of chemical compounds present in each cup of coffee. These chemicals have been found to be endocrine disruptors, carcinogenic, and so forth, hurting our health. That is where the issue lays. The questions that I would ask myself is, if this was me, if I was drinking 5 cups of coffee and I was being productive and I wanted to reduce it and I want to find something natural, right? The questions that I would ask myself is, why am I drinking coffee in the first place? Does it taste good? Do I just love the taste? Or is it the energy and the effect that it gives me, right? The other one that I would ask myself, does the coffee that I take, does it have sugar? Does it have dairy milk or other milk, or does it have any alternative sugars? What am I putting in the coffee? The other one is, how is my sleep? Is this coffee affecting my sleep? Is this coffee affecting my mood, my ability to function? Are they worse or better? The other one is, how are my stress levels? Okay, how are my stress levels? Because that could be impacting energy, because your question was all about energy. How can I increase my energy, right? Then I would ask, how is my digestion? Because if your digestion is not well, that's where you're spending most of your energy, right? Am I getting all the nutrients that are required from a mitochondria, which is the powerhouse developing all the power in the body? Am I getting all the nutrients required for the mitochondria to work? Am I only productive when I have coffee? How long have I been drinking 5 cups of coffee? When is the first coffee and when is the last coffee that I'm having? What are my iron levels like? What is my thyroid like? What are my vitamin D levels like? What does my blood tests tell me? Am I eating enough vegetables? Am I eating enough fruit? Am I eating enough calories? Am I eating too many calories? What is happening inside of my body? Those are the questions that I would pose before even looking at removing coffee, right? I would need to understand. So your end outcome is to have more energy. It's to have more energy, okay? By reducing, you want to reduce coffee and have more energy. That is easily done with your lifestyle. Okay, the first thing that I would do is I would track my sleep and my energy. I would have a diary tracking my sleep, my energy. How much sleep did I get and how much energy did that provide me with? Okay, the other one that I would do is I would ensure my circadian rhythm is on point. I'm asleep at night when the sun's down and I'm awake when the sun is up. Circadian rhythm needs to match my rhythm of my body, because then all the internal clock works properly. Therefore, I will not be fatigued. I will have optimal energy. I have to ensure that my digestion is on point, because when my digestion's on point, I will have the energy that I need to get through the day. The other one that I would look at is, do I have any food sensitivities, allergies? Because this could be draining my energy away. right? I would ensure that I drink my last coffee about noon, even 1 p.m. pushing it due to its half-life of caffeine. I would only drink organic coffee with filtered water and ensure that the milk, I wouldn't use dairy milk, I would use alternative milks, but ensure that these alternative milks are also organic, and preferably I would make them myself. If I'm unable to make them myself, I would ensure that they don't have additives, preservatives, coloring, flavorings, and so forth in it. Ensure that I don't add sugar, because the whole point of having coffee is to taste the bitterness, because the bitterness is what our body works with best, and it helps our body balance itself, right? I would look at what will give me energy, right? The thing that will give me energy is my diet, my water intake, the sun, my sleep, my movement. You need to get the basics right before adding anything into your body, right? What I will do then is when I do have my 1 cup or 2 cups of coffee a day, I would combine it with green tea, because these coffee and green tea combined together does absolutely amazing things to our body. Give it a try if you want to, and of course if you can, depending on what your healthcare professional says. The other thing that I would do is, in regards to, the question was about productivity, right? Binaural beats are absolutely amazing for productivity. Chuck them on whilst I'm working, whilst I'm studying, to be more productive, right? Ensure that I have a schedule in place, because once a schedule is in place, I'm able to be more productive, right? The other things that I'll look at is eating more greens, such as chlorophyll, which enhances the body's ability to eliminate toxins, which means automatically your energy increases, right? I would even maybe look at incorporating some adaptogenic herbs after talking to my healthcare professional, of course. Look at some magnesium supplements to increase food, and also control my stress, because stress is the sucker out of energy. If you're stressed, you will have no energy, right? So there you have it. In regards to dropping your caffeine intake, feel free to do so. However, the first things that you need to look at is what is happening in your life, your lifestyle things that will give you more energy. I strongly advise on not relying on something to give you energy, such as food, supplements, such as caffeine, and so forth. The energy needs to come from within. Therefore, you need to sleep well. Therefore, you need to be energized the day. Therefore, all of your body functions in your body need to be working at an optimal level, right? And that's where going back to the basics helps. All right, well, I hope I shed some light to this question, and anyone listening who may be interested in getting some natural health booster. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me at Mahela.Raguse at Instagram, or feel free to send through a voice message to me, and I will be in touch with you and let you know if your question has made it onto the Natural Health Podcast. Whilst you're at it, do what you do best. Love, like, share, rate, review the Natural Health Podcast. Really love and appreciate your help. I'm doing this for you. I'm providing all of this valuable information for you for free, so you're able to live your optimal life, right? Remember, you're not alone in this journey to optimal health. I'm here to assist you and make the journey a pleasant one. Until next Wednesday, love you.